what is Coca-Cola? What are you doing?
Right.
You know, are there any questions that or any guidance that you're going to give employees around the world to use that?
You know, it sounds a little bit crazy, and we'll see how it goes. But basically, we tell people engage on what you know, and if you are not knowledgeable or an expert, then don't engage. And if you, you know, there's engaging on behalf of the company, and there's engaging as in your personal life. Your personal life, you know, you're obviously a whole person who cares about things other than Coca-Cola. So, you know, it might be just sharing the Jennifer Aniston vitamin water video that's really cool. That might be the extent of your sharing. Obviously, I have a professional interest in this space, right? So how I engage is very different. But there's also a different standard, and I'm held to a different level of accountability. So we try not to scare people, and we try to say, hey, engage to the level of your comfort, but also realize when you need to pass things off or pull back. For people who are spokespeople, we mess up, we can lose our jobs. I mean, there's no getting around that your professional responsibility doesn't end when you walk out the front door.
Also, I would imagine Coke is a very controlled corporate culture, and ours is very decentralized. So I think you would probably come at it from different perspectives.
I love that you think that, because that's the outside that you know we want to portray. Coke is very decentralized in the sense that there are people literally everywhere, and then when you factor in all the people who bottle our products, that, I mean, we're the fourth largest employer in the world. So there are things that happen every day that I see that give me a heart attack and make me want to fall off my chair, and I just let it go, because we don't have the resources to be able to scale to answer every question. We don't have the resources to scale to deal with everything. I mean, we have Facebook sites that are put up by partners that would violate any corporate policy. We have some very strict corporate policies. Obviously, stay out of politics, stay out of religion. You must always disclose that you work for Coca-Cola, and I would advise that to be sort of a mantra that everyone should drive. But yeah, beyond that, there's lots of stuff that happens.
Well, I was interested. You mentioned the bottlers, and that, in some way, to me, seems to be similar to our PSI affiliates, who are not necessarily controlled by us. So how do you influence them? I mean, I presume when you talk about the 130,000, that includes bottling?
It doesn't,
company?
actually.
It does not. That's 130,000.
With bottlers, we have about 2 million employees around the world.
2 million employees. And so what happens there? You can't control the bottlers.
No. I mean, they're independently owned companies. They're oftentimes listed as separate companies. We try to cajole and charm and convince. We make all of our training available to them. We make all of our social media principles available to the public for anyone to steal and rip off. And that's how we try to influence their behavior. That's essentially as far as we can go.
And you can cut them off as bottlers, presumably, if they...
You know, I actually don't know. I mean, they have very long-standing contractual relationships, so I don't know what we could do around that. But our influence is very limited, and it's influence that's limited to the ability to persuade. But we want to empower them too, right? I mean, they love Coca-Cola. They bottle it; it's their livelihood. It's what they do. So we want to give them as much information as we can to make sure they're armed and they can go out and they can, you know, be great and be optimistic. So we certainly don't hold anything close to the vest. So if you were to, you know, we're inviting them on our internal collaboration networks, for instance. We treat them just as if they were Coke employees.
Yeah. We do too.
So, sorry?
One of the reasons I came to this discussion is I was interested in hearing just more about where is social media going? Because when we talk about social media, we talk about Twitter, we talk about Facebook.
Sure.
And I would just love to hear your perspective on, you know, where is it in 5 years? What is it that we need to start thinking about when we develop strategies around social media?
So I think, thank you for that, because that's, I'm so excited about where I see the future of social media. I think never has information been more democratic. We no longer are trapped by where we get information from. And I think you're going to see brands of all types respond to that by really embracing the concept of being a publisher. You're already seeing that as Coca-Cola. Essentially, we treat our YouTube channel like it's a television station. We're extremely careful about the information that we put up there. We treat all of our corporate digital properties. You're going to see a lot of change in those over the next couple years as we, increasingly think of those as the ability to drive, really thought-leading journalism around, what is Coke's perspective on Haiti and Haitian reconstruction and building a sustainable economy there. What's Coke's point of view on sustainable packaging? Part of our 2020 vision is to really become a global leader and champion for sustainability. So you'll start seeing Coke products drive those objectives. So we have a 2020 vision, and all of our social media strategy maps to that vision, and we drive to that. Celebrate our brands and champion sustainability. Those are the two things that we care about. Everything we do has to roll up to one of those two things. And so it's not very different than an editorial focus of a paper or a TV station. I think that if you do not become a publisher, you're going to get lost. And you're already starting to do that at PSI with your blog, which is terrific. The information you put out with youth aids and the content that you create there. I think we're going to see a lot more user-generated content. People no longer writing letters to congressmen, they're going to send videos to congressmen or their parliamentarians. The people who facilitate that, I think, are really gonna grab people's attention and become forces to be reckoned with. Anything you can do that humanizes an issue or humanizes a brand, I think will make